Welcome to the How to Program with Java podcast, where all you need is the desire to learn, and you too can become a Java programmer with absolutely no knowledge of programming. And now, your host, Trevor Page.
Hey, guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, how you doing? Coming back at you with another episode of the How to Program with Java podcast. Thank you so much for joining. And really, I'm going to start this episode off on sort of a different note than I usually do. And I'm doing this because, I believe that right now at this moment, this exact moment in my life, I'm going to use the word remarkable to describe how I'm feeling. And like I said, this is a different tone of the show that I usually start off with. So maybe my higher level of energy isn't shining through at the moment, but that's with good reason. And it's because I'm feeling very, very grateful. And I really want to take a pause, take a moment to really allow this feeling to be expressed to you guys, because it's you guys that I am so thankful for, okay? And I know probably the feeling is mutual. Probably you guys are feeling like, okay, well, Trevor, you teach me stuff, and I appreciate that, and you're giving this away for free, and it's valuable, so really maybe you're thinking that you should be thanking me. And that's fine, by all means. I obviously don't mind getting thanked, but really, in this moment, I really feel like I need to flip the tables around and really just lay it on thick with you guys and really express my true gratitude. And here's the reason. So this morning, really yesterday, which was November 3rd, 2014, I launched my new ebook. So I released an ebook, and it's something. This is nothing game changing. This is nothing that's going to change the world by any means, and that's not what I'm shooting for. But I released this ebook, this humble ebook that teaches people about databases. Okay, it teaches you about databases. It teaches you about MySQL, which is a language that you use to sort of talk to databases with the MySQL language. And it's, walks you through everything step by step in what I call plain English, which is my approach to teaching, which I apparently discovered that I'm good at. I'm good at breaking things down, which are complex, into, easy to understand chunks in a way that is easily understood. And that's awesome. I don't know how I can do that, but I apparently have that skill, and I'm going to milk it for all it's worth. But having said that, I released the book, and I have received, it's already hit the number one bestseller list. So for its category, which is in the Kindle store, under, I think, computers and technology and the databases category within that, it hit number one. And that's incredible. I mean, I think that is a remarkable achievement. And I'd always sort of hoped in the back of my mind that I could hit that, list for, selfish reasons. You always want to be able to say that you wrote a book and it hit the number one list for its category, and it did, and that's fantastic. And then I realized that it's in number two right now for just the more generic computers and technology category. So even more generic than that, it's number two in all the books that are currently available through Kindle, the new ones right now. It's number two. So that, again, is an even more remarkable achievement, and I'm pretty confident that it's actually going to hit the number one spot just because a lot of people still haven't downloaded it and everything. But having said that, even though that is fantastic, that is amazing, that's more than I could have asked for, and I'm so grateful for that, you guys have gone above and beyond and have left an overwhelming number of reviews already. So to put this into perspective, I've received, I think it's been 7 or 8 reviews, 7 or 8 5-star reviews on the book, okay? I believe it's 8. Let me refresh my screen. So 8 5-star reviews on the book, and to put that into perspective, the total number of reviews I've ever received for my other ebook, which is the How to Program with Java ebook, it was 25 reviews total. And this is over the span of more than 2 years. So I released the book over 2 years ago. I believe it was September 2012 when I released the book. So in over 2 years, I've racked up 25 reviews total. Already in its second day on the interwebs, in the Amazon store, this book has racked up 8 5-star reviews. So not only just 8 reviews, but 8 5-star reviews. And that's, I mean, and they're not just, typical, one-liner type reviews. These reviews are well thought out, well presented, and just fantastic reviews saying such wonderful things about the book. And I would really love to go into all of them, but I have my own reviews to give to you for the podcast for this week. So I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time doting on you guys, because obviously you guys probably want to get to the good stuff as well, which I will get to, I promise. We're going to be learning about more HTML and actually CSS technologies today, so stay tuned. But yeah, I've already received just incredible reviews. The people, let me just say them by name right now because I can go through that quickly. The names I see are Christine Newcomer, Joseph Dante, I think it's pronounced Flavio Mocado, Lori Smith, Rajesh P. They don't have their last name in there. Somebody by the username of Avatar, I guess. We probably meant Avatar, but maybe that was taken, so I put Avatar. Tom K. Rafael Rivero. Those are the names that I've left reviews so far that I can see, and they're all 5-star reviews, and they're all fantastic reviews, and I'm just so grateful and thankful to those people for taking the time out of the day to do this. Because believe it or not, even though I have a large following now that I've amassed, this kind of action, it takes a while to go in, log into Amazon, go to the book, click on the reviews section, click on or scroll down to the customer reviews area, click on the write a review button, actually typing out a few paragraphs of a review. Like, that's a lot of work. We are all busy people. We have stuff to do in our day that's more important than leaving a review on a book. But you guys have taken the time out of your day to do that. And it's incredible. Okay, I just want to extend that gratitude and say a sincere, heartfelt thank you for doing that, because that's going to make such a difference for the book, for getting it out there and getting it found by more people, and that's what it's all about. For me, getting out my message and being able to help people to learn these very, very valuable skills, okay, programming and databases. Again, this isn't... I don't want to say it's not life-changing, because it absolutely can be life-changing, and I've received emails from people thanking me because of how life-changing this stuff is. So maybe I shouldn't say that this stuff is not life-changing, because clearly I've received, like I said, messages that have said to the contrary, that it is life-changing. So really, you guys are not just helping me out by saying, hey, great stuff, Trevor, keep it coming, but you're also helping other people find my stuff, and I'm helping to change their lives as well. So you guys are just as much a part of this journey of changing people's lives as I am. So again, thank you so much for that. And then moving on, so I'm already hitting a point where I'm very emotional about this stuff. I'm already feeling very blessed and very thankful for all this stuff, as I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing by now. But then I go and I look at the reviews for the podcast, and I'll go through those right now as quickly as possible, but I'll end on the one that really touched me, that really, got me fully into this, what's it called? This mushy feeling that I'm feeling right now. So I'll get to that at the end, but let me start with, we've had 4 5-star reviews come in that I've seen from, I believe this one was from the UK, and it goes something like this. He says, I'm currently between jobs, having not been programming for a few years, despite having almost 9 years of Java experience. I'm finding this podcast incredibly useful, both as a refresher course and as an introduction to some new technologies that I haven't used before, namely Spring and Agile. He says the podcast format, I say he, I don't know if this is a he or she, the username is Varkster. I have no idea. I'm going to say he, because chances are there are just, statistically more men than women, so I'm statistically more, I have more of a chance of being correct by saying he. If it's a she, I apologize. But it says the podcast format is great. For this, it lets you do other things while still keeping immersed in the Java mindset. He says, I've recently taken to walking for exercise around 5 miles a day, and this podcast means that my time is doubly useful. Trevor is great at explaining complex issues verbally, a skill lacking in many technically oriented people. But what really shines through is his enthusiasm and energy for communicating these technologies. He's also willing to say, I don't know, where appropriate. And this is what, in my mind, distinguishes a great coder from a merely reasonable one. Acknowledging that you don't know everything, but understanding the problem and how to go looking for the answer, that's what's important. The parts which particularly interest me are the higher level process discussions. These are the things which you can only get by experience or good quality podcasts, but can't really pick up by reading through web pages as far as I'm concerned. Keep up the great work. So a long review, but and I love long reviews, so thank you for leaving that. But he makes a great point. I mean, being able to do two things at once, that's why I love podcasts. I always go for walks now when I take the dog out for a walk. I always listen to podcasts as well. It's an amazing, efficient use of your time. So obviously, very, very good stuff. So thank you for that review. And all the rest of these ones that I'm going to say, the 5-star reviews, came in from the US of A. This one from user JWW61. They say, great podcast, 5 stars. I'm new to object-oriented programming. Trevor Page is a perfect instructor for someone who wants to learn. I think the Java homework assignments have been superb tools for, quote, making it stick. So good stuff. I'm glad you're making use of those assignments. That's what they're there for. They're challenging assignments. So if you're having trouble with the assignments, don't worry. I'm sure I can say with confidence you are not alone. I made them purposefully made them difficult. So if you're having troubles, just email into me or use the forums if you're signed up for the Java video tutorials. Forums are a great way to get out there and ask questions, and I can hop in there and help you out. All right. Next review. This one's by username Ain't Young. I love this. Whoever it was that left this, again, if this is a guy, thank you so much. Or obviously if it was a girl, thank you so much. But I love their humor here. It comes through really well. I can relate to humor, as I find that people call me humorous as well. They say, I can't believe I hadn't already written a review, but what happens to old programmers, they ask. They get promoted and forget the joy. Trevor has brought back the joy, and now I know what the heck these kids are running around talking about. Wait, is that someone on my lawn? So, there you go. Great review. Love the humor. Very happy that I can, rekindle some of the old joys of programming. I know that's kind of what happened with me. I got promoted too. I was a team lead, and I was every day becoming more and more removed from the actual programming stuff, the hands-on programming, and I was more so... Well, it was more of a management position, so I was helping to make sure that my team was getting their stuff done, and obviously that means that I was going to do less and less programming and more type management stuff, and that's okay. I loved my team dearly. That was very fond memories that I hold of that time, but I love programming. Obviously, you guys realize that, so I'm very happy that I've sort of moved on and I'm now doing this stuff. So, all right, finishing with the last review, 5-star review, and then I know I've been rambling for quite a while. What are we at? Let's see, almost 15 minutes into it. I'm sorry that I'm taking so long. Hopefully the next podcast won't be this long at the beginning. But like I said, I'm feeling very grateful, and I really want to share this feeling with you guys because I haven't really done that in a while. So, all right, last review. This one really touched me in a very emotional way, and I really enjoyed it. So. This one comes from username Patty ZB, however you want to pronounce that word, or Patty B, let's say. They said their review was entitled Regret, and it starts by saying, I'm not usually very regretful. And as soon as I read that, I was like, oh, that's odd. That's an odd way to start a review, because they said they had specified it as being a 5-star review, and I thought that they were going to be giving more of a negative review. But so I started off kind of a weird feeling when I was reading this, but then I kept reading and it made sense why they started this way. They said, I'm not usually very regretful, but I'm very disappointed at myself that I have not found this podcast before. Trevor is an excellent communicator and teacher. There is nobody like him. Please don't go to YouTube to learn Java or buy a boring, expensive book. All you need is Trevor. Trevor is all you need. You will learn the most important details with Trevor so you can understand the topic and not just go with a concept in general. It's incredible how much you will learn for free. I'm still in awe that this is free. Thank you, Trevor. I can tell that you are a passionate teacher. I can tell that you are are passionate to teach Java and help people. There we go. I don't know why that was so hard for me to read. You are not in it to be popular or earn money, but to share your vast knowledge with the ones that really need it. And so this review, obviously you guys aren't living in my shoes, so maybe you don't really connect with why this review, hit me in such a good spot. But with me, I've had a lot of people talk about some of my past material. You're always going to have haters. Whenever you get to a point where you have a fairly large audience, you're going to have haters. And a few times I've had a few haters that come by and sort of flame, especially in Amazon reviews, giving me a really horrible review saying, "Why are you buying this book? Don't buy this piece of garbage. You can go to YouTube and learn this stuff for free." And that's absolutely true, and they're absolutely entitled to their opinion, and I absolutely agree with that opinion. If you are on a budget, you should not be buying my stuff. You should be going out and using all the free material that's out there, because there's tons, and it's very, very useful, namely through YouTube, or if you really like to, you can go to the blog, howtoprogramwithjava.com. All that stuff is free, and there's even free ebooks and free everything that you can get to help you out. So, I mean, it's unfortunate that they had to leave a negative review, because that obviously hurts the book. It hurts the book in the search rankings. Then other people can't find it, and I can't share my message and my teaching style with people. And that's what sucks about that. That's what really is unfortunate, an unfortunate circumstance of people leaving negative reviews like that. But this person leaves their review and says, please don't go to YouTube to learn Java or buy another, expensive book. They're saying, use the podcast. And to me, that's fantastic. That's such high praise, especially considering the context of other people saying, go somewhere else. So that really, touches me deeply. That really means something to me. So I'm very thankful to this person for saying that. And plus, they also acknowledge that I am so passionate in teaching and helping people, because I'm really not in this to be popular. Even if I only had one person that listened to this podcast, but as long as they were getting something out of it, then I really would have accomplished my goal. I'm not in this to be popular, and I'm not in it to earn a bunch of money. I'm not. Okay, I don't want to earn millions of dollars. I don't know if I've said this before, but if I do ever hit that point of earning millions of dollars or something like that, I'd be giving it all away. Okay, I'd be giving it all away to support people close to me, my friends, my family. I'd be giving it away to amazing charities, like one that I've become familiar with recently called Pencils of Promise, which helps to build schools overseas, namely in Africa, I believe is where their target is. I know they narrowed down to 3 countries. I forget the 3 countries off the top of my head, but organizations like that's what really matters. Those are the people who need the money, who are getting out there and making the lives of other people better, okay, through giving, okay, through giving stuff away. And that is what I'm all about. That is something that hits me at my core. That is my core belief. So if ever I get to that point, really, I should be pushing to get to that point so that I can help start helping and support those kinds of organizations. So really, I should be gearing up to hitting that point where I can be making that money to make that kind of a difference. In any case, he realizes, Patty B realizes, I'm not in this to really earn money, but to share my knowledge with the ones that really need it. And that's the key here. That is the key to this whole message, to the ones that really need it. That's why I have this podcast, because it's free. Okay? A lot of people say, I can't believe this stuff is free. Like one of the other people had said, I think it was Patty B here, says, I'm still in awe that this is free. That's the reason why this is free, is because I want to be able to help those people out who are not as fortunate as me, or perhaps as fortunate as you, who have the luxury of being able to have access to the internet 24/7 and have a computer and have had a great education, background and have had all these amazing things that a lot of times we take for granted, but we absolutely should not, because there are tons and tons of people out there who, having access to a laptop is a luxury. All right, so I don't know. This I know I've been talking way too much about this stuff, and I'm sorry about those people who are getting tired of this. I'm about to get started into the material for today, but I just wanted to finish this off by saying sincerely thank you to you guys. Okay, truly, truly thank you. I cannot express enough gratitude, and I can't wait to see what the future has in store. My goal for the ebook that I just released yesterday is to hit 30 5-star reviews. That was a very, very lofty goal when I set it, considering I had only had 25 reviews on my other book that's been out for more than 2 years. My goal was to hit 30 reviews for this new book, specifically 5-star reviews for this new book, by Friday. Okay, we are Tuesday in the week. I'm releasing this on a Tuesday, so I have essentially today and then 3 more days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, to hit that goal. So an extremely lofty goal, but I'm on target to hit it. And it's because, like I said at the beginning of this, you guys are taking time out of your day to go and leave a review on Amazon. And that, like I've already said, I'm so thankful for that. Because you're not just helping me, you're helping way more than me by doing this. You're helping so many other people to be able to access this stuff and learn it, because there are so many people out there who I feel don't do a good job teaching, which is one of the reasons why I started this podcast, okay? And why it is that I publish books, why it is that I publish blog articles, why it is that I create courses with video tutorials and support groups for learning. This is why I do it, because there aren't enough good educators out there who can really break this stuff down. And from you guys telling me that I am really, really good at doing this, I'm now stepping up and saying, okay, I need to get myself and my message out there to help as many people as I possibly can, to reach them and to get them up to date and learning this amazingly valuable and life-changing stuff, information, skill set, whatever you want to call it, all right? So, if you haven't already done so, please go and grab the book. It's free right now. It's free between Monday and Friday. Again, I want to get as many people out and help as many people as I possibly can. And Amazon allows me to do that 5 days at a time. Every 3 months, I can put it on sale for free for 5 days, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So I'm getting as many people as I can, the word out, so that as many people as possible can download this book for free and get access to the wonderful teachings inside of it. So get over to Amazon and get my book. If you, I can put the link to the book in the show notes for this page, show notes for this episode. And it's quite a complex link, so I can tell you, actually, you know what? Just go to howtoprogramwithjava.com/mysql. And that will take you to the Amazon page for the new ebook that I just released, which is about MySQL and databases. Or you can just type in MySQL, so MySQL, and then just put Trevor Page, or just Trevor, and it'll probably find it in Amazon when you do a search inside of Amazon. So go to Amazon, type in MySQL, and then Trevor or Trevor Page, and it should find it. So, all right. Whew. Now, after whatever that was, like 20 minutes of stuff, let's get into the teachings for today. So this is going to be a longer episode, but I really, like I said, I wanted to get that out there and share my gratitude with you all. So the stuff that we're going to be learning about today is with respect to HTML and styles, more specifically styles. So I'd hinted at the first topic, which is something called a doctype, and this applies to HTML directly. And what is a doctype? This is what we're going to be learning about. So in HTML, there's something called a doctype, which is used to help browsers know what version of HTML you are using. Okay, so as it's been progressing, the HTML language has gone through a whole bunch of different versions. Okay, currently, right now, as of this episode being released, the most popular version, the most latest and greatest version is HTML5. So HTML version 5, and HTML5 was released quite a while ago, and it just takes a long time for all the web browsers to catch up and to implement the standards. But as of right now, HTML5 is finally becoming more and more supported, and that's what browsers are able to read and understand and use. We can get into the nitty-gritty of HTML5, specific stuff later on. But for now, I want to talk about, like I said, the doctype and why it's used. So the doctype is what you use to, like I said, tell the browser what version of HTML you're writing. Because different versions of HTML read and react to different HTML tags in different ways, okay? Very confusing stuff, very annoying to keep track of, especially when there's so many different browsers and so many different versions of HTML. It's like a big, bowl of spaghetti with respect to how you could get your website to look. It's amazing that any website really works on the internet, but in any case, the Doctype tag is what you use to tell the browser what version you are using. So what I would recommend when you're creating an HTML page, like I said, when you create an HTML page, all you need to do is you can just open up a regular old text document on your computer. Okay, you can open up a text document, and instead of saving it as a .txt file, okay, if you're using a Windows machine, I don't know about Mac what the extension or file types are, but you can open it up, and instead of saving it as a TXT file, as a text file, you can save it as an HTML file, .html. But all you do is just type in regular text inside of it, and you can actually open up that file in a browser, and it will actually render it properly. But I say the words render it properly with some reservations, because if you do not specify a doc type, then the browsers are forced to kind of guess what version of HTML you're dealing with. Because imagine you're given, let's say, a document. Let's say you're given an HTML document, and it is 1,000 lines of content inside of it. It has 1,000 lines of code of HTML stuff inside of it. But they haven't specified what version of HTML this is. How in the heck are you going to know what version it is? Well, that's what the browser's job is to do. If there's no doc type specified, it has to go through the document, through the HTML page, and try to ascertain what possible version of HTML they could be using. Like I said, HTML version 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or any sub-versions of HTML within each of those major releases. So, 4.5, 4, whatever. It's confusing, and the browser can try and do its best to figure it out, but it doesn't always get it right. So if, let's say, you had some code in there that maybe reacted a certain way in HTML version 4, but the browser tried to determine and decided that you were using HTML version 3, then whatever code you have in there that's using HTML4 features, or at least using it in a way that that you want it to use in some way, shape, or form, the browser is going to interpret it differently, okay? And not just that, let's say it works fine in Chrome, because maybe Chrome browser decides that it's HTML version 4, okay, and therefore it looks fine in Chrome, but let's say Internet Explorer doesn't know what version, and it just defaults to HTML version 3 or 2 or something like that. Everything is going to look strange. I shouldn't say everything. The parts of it that are not compatible between HTML 2 and 4, let's say, as an example, those elements will not display properly, or at least most likely they will not display properly. So that's why it's quite important for you to actually specify the version of HTML that you're using. So how do we do this? It's actually very, 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 very simple, okay? It is very straightforward. All you need to do at the very top of your document, at the very top of every single HTML page you create, just specify a doc type. And it's simple. Here's the syntax. I can give it to you through audio. It's a tag, so you have the opening and closing sort of angled brackets, okay, so the less than sign and greater than sign. And inside of those, you just type in exclamation mark, doc type, all one word, DOCTYPE, doc type, space HTML, and you're done. Okay? Open bracket, so less than sign, exclamation, doc type, HTML, close bracket. Done. There we go. So what that does is it specifies that this document, this HTML document, is going to be the latest and greatest of HTML versions. In this case, HTML5. Okay, that's how we specify that our document is in version HTML5. If you want to specify it at a previous version, I don't want to get into that because I don't want to teach you how to use the previous versions of HTML. I only want you guys to be using latest and greatest. So that is what we are going to be specifying, just doc type HTML. Okay, and that's how you do it. Piece of cake, simple. There's no closing tag for this one. So, universally, whenever I'm talking about HTML, there's always opening tags and closing tags. In this case, it's just the Doctype HTML1 tag, it's an opening tag. You might think that there should be a closing tag, but it's because it's not really an HTML tag. It's just a piece of code that kind of looks like an HTML tag that's just specifically for the browsers. Okay? And that's it. There we go. That's essentially our discussion that we're going to have about doc types, okay? Because it's really that straightforward. Just put it at the top, you're good to go. If you're curious about how to use other doc types and whatnot, there's a great article at w3schools.com that I've linked up in the show notes for this episode. So you'll see it down there. You'll see the W3 Schools. You can click on it, and it'll redirect you to the doc type declarations, and you can sort of see the different browsers and how to declare the different versions. So if you want to use HTML version 4.01 or HTML version whatever, you can go and you can see exactly how you can do it. But like I said, I would suggest you just stick with the latest and greatest, which is HTML5, because we're going to be diving into the nitty-gritty about HTML5 in future episodes. All right, cool. So now let's move on to a topic of called styles. Okay, so this is the CSS and styles. CSS, like we learned about in the last episode, stands for Cascading Style Sheets. Now, this is more of an exciting topic. Okay, this really, Cascading Style Sheets are almost, it's almost gives some programming-esque feel to it, because there's some dynamic stuff that's happening with your code, depending on how the styles are set up. Okay, now that's a very generic way to talk about it, and I'm obviously going to be a lot more specific when I'm talking about styles, specifically CSS. But before we get into CSS and like I said, cascading style sheets, I just want to talk about some HTML tags that we can use to add a little bit of style to our websites, web pages. So I suppose the first and foremost, the most popular tags when it comes to adding a little bit of style to your web page or web pages are the header tags, okay? So, I mean, there are a bunch of built-in HTML tags that can be used to format the text in your web page, okay? And I've actually, if you go to the show notes for the page, I guess they'll be available at howtoprogramwithjava.com/session63, you'll see the formatting that's done using those tags in the show notes itself. So the heading tags are what I use to create, I guess you can call it big and bold and text that stands out on the page. Okay, it's the headings that you have within your page. To create a heading, you use the heading tags, which are just a letter H, followed by either the number 1 through to the number 6. So if you're using an H1 tag, which is just, open angle bracket, H1, close angled bracket, and then you put the text in there, and then you close it off with the closing H1 tag. The text between those two H1 tags will be an H1 header tag, okay? And the H1 header tags are the tags that appear the largest on the page. So that's like your main, that's like a title type tag. Title type tag, that's a tough... Anyway, whatever, doesn't matter. Those are the biggest words, the biggest letters that you'll have on your page. And then a little bit smaller of a heading, so I guess a subheading, if you will, is the H2 tag, which is the header number 2, I guess, which is like a subheading for the H1 tag. And to do that, you create that via the same tag. You use H2, enclosed in angled brackets. Type in your text, and then you close it off with a closing H2 tag, which is the angle brackets with the /H2 to close off that tag. So it's a very common, like I said in the last episode, HTML is all about opening tags and closing tags. There's a very, common way to open a tag and close it. It has to be the same symbols and words or letters inside of the opening tag as there is in the closing tag for it to work properly. So in this case, H2 and /H2 inside of our angled brackets. And then it just goes down from there. H3, H4, H5, H6. And those are all of the different H tags that you can use, the heading tags, to create, formatted text on your page. So you can add some titles and subheadings and subheadings and so on and so forth. And there you go. That's what you use to go about doing it. And there's a great little example of what those actually look like on the show notes page. So again, howtoprogramwithjava.com/session 63. You'll see it says, this is an H1 tag, this is an H2 tag, this is an H3 tag. And you'll see how big the text is and other things you can take note of. It's not just how big the text is, but take a look at the spacing between them. So when you look at the H1 tag compared to the H2 tag, so when it says this is an H1 tag versus this is an H2 tag, there's quite a lot of space between the two of them. And that's done on purpose. That's part of the style sheet for the H1 tag that we have just created. And then you compare and contrast that to the space between the H2 and the H3 tags. It's a little bit smaller. And same goes for between the H3 and H4. It's a little bit smaller, and the text gets smaller, and the space between them gets smaller. And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So those are just handy little quick sort of shortcut tags that you can use to immediately and like I said, quickly add a little bit of style to the text on your website. Another bunch of tags that you can use are for the typical type Word document stuff. So if you're creating a Microsoft Word document, you can use you can make your text italicized, so you can sort of put it on a slant. You can use bolding or underlining. All of these can be achieved through tags. So you can use if you want to make it italic, you just use the tag is just I. Okay, lowercase I. Although I think uppercase I would work as well, but I tend to use lowercase letters and words when I'm using HTML just because I'm used to it. So yeah, you just use, between angled brackets, use the letter I. And then whatever you put between that opening I tag and the closing I tag will become italics. So that text will be italics. And of course, I give you an example on the show notes page of what italics text looks like, but I'm sure if you've ever used a word processing system or app before, you know exactly what italicized text looks like. And same goes for bolding. You can use the B tag, so just B between angled brackets, again opening and closing B tag, so opening B and closing would be the angled brackets with a / and then the letter B, and any text between those two tags becomes bolded. Okay, and actually underline, I said underline, that's actually a little bit more tricky. That is using something called a span tag, but that's really using more along the lines of actual cascading style sheets. So we'll get to that one later. I guess underlining is a little bit more advanced. I forgot about that. But no worries, we will get to that stuff. The next thing you can do with these tags is not just to modify the look and feel of the text itself, because that's what we've been doing so far. We've been modifying it with header tags, making it large and bold and stuff like that, or we've modified it by making it italics and stuff. That's all kind of changing the look and feel of the text. Other sorts of formatting you can do is using things like numbered lists or bullet points. Okay, you can create those using the appropriate HTML tags inside of your HTML document. Okay, so for example, if you wanted to create a list, an ordered list, so that's a list with number 1, and then you have your text, and then number 2, and you have your text, and number 3, and you have your text. You can achieve that by using the ordered list tag, which is just OL. Okay, OL, which stands for ordered list. You open and close those two tags, okay? That sort of tells the browser, all right, so we are starting an ordered list. But then that's not enough. We also need to tell it which items are, item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., etc. What you do is you add list items to your ordered list tag, okay? These are all the long words, but thankfully in HTML they abbreviate it as best they can. So like I said, nested inside of your ordered list, which is just OL tags, you have your list item tags, which is abbreviated to LI. Okay, so OL and LI. So you have your opening OL tag, which means ordered list, and then your first item inside of the list, you open up an LI tag and type in the text that you'd want to have as your, item number 1 in the list. So, for example, for lack of having a better example, I use just the word list item 1. Okay, that's the text that I'm putting in as the ordered item number 1. And then I close the LI tag, which is the list item tag. okay? And then I open up another li tag, another list item tag, and I say list item number 2, and I close that li tag. And then I open another li tag and type in list item 3 and close that li tag. So there's a repeating list of li, which is list item tags that are nested inside of the ol tag, which is the ordered list tag. All right? And there you go. So then the final result is you have on the screen 1, so the number 1, and then list item 1, and then 2, list item 2, and then 3, list item 3. So you have the ordered list of 1, 2, 3, and you didn't actually have to type in number 1, number 2, number 3, and that's handy because let's say I wanted to delete one of the items from the list in the middle, let's say. It would be annoying to have to go back and renumber every single other one. So if you had a list of 10 and you removed the 5th one, it would be annoying to have to go through and reorder, 6 to be 5, and 7 to be 6, and 8 to be 7, and 9 to be 8, and all that stuff. That would be annoying. So instead of having to type those in, you use the ordered list tags and the list item subset tags to do that, and it does it automatically for you. Okay, and same goes with the bullet items. Okay, so it's almost the same format here with respect to coding with the tags. So we have a bullet lists use the number or the tag ul. Okay, so in other words, unordered list. Okay, so there's ordered list and unordered list. An unordered list, it's just a list of bullet items, right? So it's bullet points. And then within the ul tags, the unordered list tags, we again nest within that the li tags. So we still use li tags because they're still list items within a bullet pointed list, right? Doesn't matter if it's ordered or not ordered, they're still list items, right? So we still use li tags, and we can type in bullet item 1 and then close the li tag. Open a second li tag, bullet item 2, close that li tag. Open another li tag, bullet item 3, close the tag, etc., etc. So all that is nested, like I said, within the unordered list tag, which is the ul tag, and that's the code that you type in, and out the other end, when the browser interprets that and sort of renders it on the screen, you will see little bullet points. In the example that you'll see on howtoprogramwithjava.com/session63, you will see it's just little square boxes that they use. And with other CSS tweaks, you can change that. Instead of having it be a square box, you can make it be a round circle or an arrow or what have you. There's different ways to choose what the actual symbol is for your bulleted items. And I believe the same goes for the ordered list. Instead of having numbers, I think you can change it to be letters and stuff, just like you would on a Word document. All right, so those are some of the popular styling type tags that you can use within your HTML code. Now, to wrap things up, I will introduce the topic of cascading style sheets, okay? So what we've talked about, it's definitely styles, okay? We've definitely been using styles, but they're not entirely making use of the functionality of a cascading style sheet, because that's definitely more of an advanced topic. But I want to briefly introduce the concept of CSS, of cascading style sheets. I'll definitely be expanding on this subject much more, as there's plenty to talk about, but yes, I want to give you an overview first. So, cascading style sheets get their name due to the fact that HTML will apply the styles based on a set of rules. All right, this is similar to the concept of inheritance in Java. So if you've been going through this podcast and been learning about Java, it's kind of similar to inheritance, okay? The web browser will apply the most broadly defined CSS rules first. Okay, just like if you have a method defined in a superclass in Java, so the superclass it goes to that class first to look for functionality. But if the browser notices that there are more rules defined that are more specific, so there are rules that are defined on a more specific level, then, and only then, will the more specific rules will be used to actually override the more broad ones and apply the styles to the actual page that you're dealing with, okay? Then this is exactly like in Java when you have a child class that overrides the functionality of a superclass. Same thing's happening here. Cascading style sheets. It's almost like inherited style sheets. It's almost like what you can replace that word cascading style sheets with inherited style sheets, because it's like inheritance in Java. So then the question is, what's the most specific way of applying these CSS rules, and which is the least specific, so the most broad? So what's a superclass and what's a child class, okay? Don't get confused, we don't use a terminology superclass and child class when we're dealing with CSS, but I like to use examples with stuff we already know. So I use that terminology as it applies to Java. Well, to know which one's specific and which one is broad, that means you'll need to understand all the different places that CSS can actually exist. All right. But like I said, I'm just introducing this topic, so you're going to have to wait until the next tutorial, the next episode, before you'll learn the answer to that question. I know, it's a tease. But that's what gets you back. That's what gets you back and listening to more of these great free episodes of this podcast, right? Right. So you'll learn about in the next episode, CSS and where the different CSS code can actually exist, which one is the most broadly used one, so like a superclass, and which one is the most specific, and you'll learn how it goes about actually applying those style sheet rules to your website to be able to choose which, essentially how to make your webpage look. So what rules should I use and apply to the style of the text? Okay, how big should I make the text? How small should I make the text? Should it be bold? Should it not be bold? Those are all things that we can use and have to our advantage using cascading style sheets. So it's almost like painting a picture with a big broad brush, right down to a very specific fine brush, if you will. If you were to turn, making a web page with CSS and HTML into artwork, that would be my analogy in any case. So, all right. Cool. So like I said, to wrap this episode up, I will go back to urging you to check out the ebook that I have, quote unquote, on sale right now on Amazon. I just released it yesterday. You guys probably already realized that. Right now it is free between now and Friday, end of day. So that's Friday, November 7th, end of day. It will be completely free. If you do not grab your copy before the end of day Friday, the price goes up to $9.99 per copy. Obviously, it's well worth $9.99 for the book because I do believe it's some of my best work in there. And I even allow you to join a community that I've created. So I go above and beyond. Instead of just having, a book full of lessons, I also have a community you can join and interact with me, obviously the author of the book, Trevor Page, and the author, if you can call it author, or the host, I guess you can call me, of this podcast. You can interact with me directly if you have any questions, if you get stuck in with your programming, with your MySQL stuff. I'm there to help. Okay, I will help as best as I can, and hopefully the community will grow so large that you won't even need me anymore. You'll just have other students jumping in and explaining answers to the questions that you ask because they know the answers because they've gone through the material already. Okay, that's my goal. That would be fantastic if I could sort of replicate myself across all my students and be able to, dump all the knowledge from my brain into theirs and have them be able to teach this stuff as well. That's like my dream scenario. That would be fantastic. But for now, as the community is small because it just started, you'll be stuck with me, unfortunately. So you'll have me to help you out and answer any questions you may have. So that's included inside the book. I won't give away the URL to join that community. You'll have to download the book for yourself to check it out. Plus, there's many other goodies that you can get once you actually get into the nitty-gritty of the book, including assignments and bonus videos and all that good stuff. And obviously, if you do download the book and get it for free, I would absolutely love you so much if you could leave a positive review on Amazon. Because like I said, that helps get the word out about the book. More people can find it, and I can spread the love and the joy of my teachings to the masses, which would be wonderful to change and reach out and obviously change those kinds of lives at that scale. Would just be another dream of mine. So, very good. Check it out. Go to howtoprogramwithjava.com/MySQL, and it will redirect you to the Amazon store where you can grab that book for yourself. If you don't remember how to do that, you can go to howtoprogramwithjava.com/session63, and I will be sure to post a link to the Amazon store in the show notes there as well. All right. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, happy learning, and bye for now.
Thanks for listening to the How to Program with Java podcast. Please visit howtoprogramwithjava.com for more useful Java tutorials.